Hi guys, this is Günther again after the Alaska summit and after this Washington summit of all our key prime ministers in the EU sitting with Zelensky in the White House. I want to explain what this charade means. Why I say charade? Because that's basically what it is. It's a desperate effort by Putin to somehow delay and buy time. And this is basically with the help of his agent Krasnov, with President Trump. He is buying time by instigating this kind of big show of Alaska. He wants to talk and the summit here and now a trilateral summit and all these things. It's all to delay the key measures which we must take in order to put pressure on him, and from which Putin is very much afraid, and he uses Trump to delay them. And what are they? They are very simple. It's the 19th EU sanction package. And please implement it. And please ban all Russian energy. The Ukrainians anyhow have destroyed the oil pipeline. Let's make sure that there is no Russian energy anymore in Europe. Now, end of 2025. We can do it. We have done so much. We can do, and it's painful, costly, but we have done much more already. And that's an easy thing to do, and let's do it very fast. And you see already, this is what we can do. We have done 18. Why not the 19th? We have almost cut most of the Russian energy off the European market. We can do the rest. The second is what the US can do. A sanction package, which Lindsey Graham is putting now with a lot of votes already through the US Senate. Let's implement it. Sign it, President Trump. And the pressure is on Putin. And of course he will economically fall and he will fiscally collapse. And it is absolutely the secondary sanctions on India will have a major impact and on China. And so the text is ready, so get it done. And Putin is so afraid that he flies on Alaska, and Putin wants to protect him, and he organizes all these charades. It's not about stopping the killing or ending the war. It's buying time for Putin to put further battlefield gains and sacrifice his own people in enormous numbers forward. And of course the third thing what the Europeans can do is confiscate the 300 billion and doing which are frozen central bank assets of Russia in the euro clear system, and we are not daring to touch them due to property rights. FUCK property rights of a war criminal state who is a terrorist and who is attacking us. In that case, these property rights are forfeit, because we as European taxpayers have to pay the whole war, or American taxpayers, obviously. The Russian assets have to be used to compensate. And this 300 billion we can transfer one-to-one to Russia, to Ukraine, and they will happily know what to do. Or we make a fund of it and we fund the further war effort or the reconstruction. There are several options what to do with the money, but certainly never to give it back to Russia and confiscate it immediately. And this we can do very much easily. And that's the third major way. And the fourth, of course, is the Taurus. They're waiting to be deployed since 3 years. And Chancellor Merz says next to Trump he wants a ceasefire. Send the 100 Taurus, send more if you have, and let's destroy the Crimean Bridge, and there will be a ceasefire because Russia will be defeated, and they will run. So these are the four main measures. And of course we can get a NATO enlargement done for Ukraine, Bosnia, Kosovo and Austria. It's very easy. Mr. Stubb from Finland was sitting in the White House, now is a NATO member. It's pretty easy to join. We make a four-party coalition and the Greens. Here, a vote in the parliament, we are in NATO. Thank you very much. The same is true for Kosovo and Bosnia, which are already NATO protectorates, and they can easily fully join. And that will have a huge impact on Serbia, very good, and it will collapse much the better. And of course Ukraine can join NATO, like Western Germany has done in 55, and I explained it here on this podcast many times. It's absolutely doable. Not the whole territory, yes, we have to concede on that one, but it will not be very long because Russia will be crumbling anyhow. So the invitation is the thing. And how come the European Prime Minister sit next to Trump and don't say NATO yes? How to invent a new organization just for Ukraine with Article 5? Everything but NATO, because the Russians don't like it. That's the whole idea why he does the war, and now he does this Alaska summit and this kind of jamboree and all this charade. It's all about the question of NATO membership. And of course we get it done, and of course he cannot attack NATO, and of course there will be no nuclear war, because in no way it's an aggressive measure. And so please, NATO membership is the only logical way for Austria, for Kosovo, for Bosnia and for Ukraine. And the Russians don't have a veto on who we integrate in NATO. And of course it takes some time, yeah, but you can make an invitation, and you can do within the next 1.5 years all these 4 countries and Moldova, and later after the regime change in Georgia and Serbia as well, these 2 countries. And of course as well you can invite other countries to the EU, as I say, the UK. Kia is standing there as a European, yeah? Join the EU. And all the countries in the EU, NATO, WTO, Schengen, Euro. That's the logic of this podcast. And absolutely, I'm correct in that one. And please, let's win the war. Let's not fall for Putin's charades and delaying tactics. Let's basically be very clear here. And let's do these 4 key measures. And the 5th one, the crowning one, is the invitation of Ukraine into NATO. Thanks a lot. Let's win the war. Let's stop fooling around, and let's stop this whole nonsense, and let's stop the killing, yes, and let's stop the war by victory, by NATO integration of Ukraine, and by the 4 measures. I repeat, the 19th sanction package with a complete ban of Russian energy into the EU, the US sanction package of Lindsey Graham, and of course with secondary sanctions, the confiscation of the Russian goods and the money in the central bank system, and of course the Taurus for Ukraine. And it's not so complicated, guys. It doesn't take a lot of thinking. Guys, let's do it. Let's win. You are elected politicians. You have the duty to secure us, and you have the duty to defend us, and the duty to manage the situation towards victory and not defeat. Yeah? Otherwise, let other people do it. Please. Okay, thanks a lot. A little rant from me, and I hope I was very clear what needs to be done in order to see a tumbling Russia crumbling like Serbia is doing now. And I told you so it will. And it took longer, but the people of Serbia are not ready for this, and the people of Russia will not be ready for that. And you will see the moment we are getting serious, there will be the time for ExRussia coming. And Serbia is now already in free collapse. Wait some days and it will be history, the regime of Vucic and the Putin and Lukashenko and Dodik. Thank you very much. They are all now on the out, and by the end of the year none of them will be in power. Mark my word and bookmark this video. All the best from Vienna. Bye.